anyway. So record it anyway.
Yeah.
I think most of the people from our place are here. Yeah. Can't speak for others, but it's 25 to.
Carry on. Macduff. Yeah, sorry.
God, that look a pretty bunch, eh? A sight as long as net down there, you get the crowd up, doesn't it? Well, ladies and gentlemen, as you perhaps know, I'm Harold. I run the Angley Motel. John has helped me out with this trip for you. I'm taking a coach load back of veterans and grown ups. There'll be 55 of us going back. I think it's roughly 65 on the other coach. It all started over 30 years ago when I was in the cafe one morning and I was talking to a customer, an old fella, and he said, I said, was you in the war? He said, yes. He said, Arnhem, normally Dunkirk. He said, I'd like to go back. He said, but I can't afford it. So after he left, I thought about it all day. I went to bed that night and I was still thinking about it, what he'd done. So I know what pain they went through because my uncle Harold was in the Japanese campaign. And the only way he could kill his pain was to drink every day of his life. He used to drink a bottle of whiskey. And I found him dead in his chair one day with a bottle of whiskey side on him. And he passed away just down Geddes Road End. So I know what they went through. So I thought the next morning I'll start the Angler Pilgrimage Fund up, which I did with the help of old Alf Holgarth, which is gone. And those early days I used to take 100 veterans back every year. And we used to collect the money and pay for them. But sadly, as we all know, old soldiers never die, they just slowly fade away. So this will be around the 30th year I've been going back. I have took children back from Long School before. I'm disappointed in Holbridge Army Cadets because they said it was too much trouble to organise to go back. We had Spalding Cadets, Air Cadets. They want to go back. We had to let them come and say, I'm sorry, we can't get the paperwork sorted out in time. They tried to blame me for it, didn't they, John? Said I'd cancel it, but which we hadn't. So we struggled, but we still got about 8 seats left. But the trip that your children are going on this year will be something very special to me because I say this is my last year. I still go back, but the veterans won't go back anymore because the oldest one I've got is George, which is 99. I've got Sid, Bernie, and John. John was a desert rat. He's 97. He's going back this year. I've got one gentleman alongside. I've never met him before. He's never been back to Normandy since D-Day. So what an experience for him. So, as I say, this year, I want to take children back. They're going to do something that's never, ever been done before and will never be done again. They'll have the privilege to lay 2,500 red roses on the graves of Ranville. In that cemetery, there's many young lads from our Commonwealth, Australia, New Zealand, America, Canada, all over the place there. And they'll have the privilege to see a lot of our lads from Long Sutton and out of our area. We lost 14,500 from out of this county in Normandy alone. So they'll have the privilege to lay one rose on each of those young lads' graves that we see. We shall lay one rose on every grave with a service. With a service and a memorial remembrance there. And then I want to take them down to Bay Air Cemetery, which there's 4,500 of our young lads there, Commonwealth boys. As I say, they'll see something they'll never ever see again unless they go over on their own. I'm going to say in Ranville Cemetery alone, there's one young lad just in the gates on the right hand side. The only person that's ever been buried with his dog. He got killed on D-Day with his Alsatian. Friendly fire. So you come through, mate. You get through. Yeah, with friendly fire, and they'll be able to lay a rose on his grave. And there, just the other side of the cemetery, they'll be able to see two young lads from Australia who got killed in Spitfires on D-Day. It's only 5 years ago when they found one of the young lads' pilots in his aircraft upside down in the Orne River. And they took his aircraft out and his remains, and he was buried in Ramville Cemetery, which they will see, and his aeroplane was sent back to Australia. So these are the kind of things they'll see, and I wanted to take them to see as much as possible if I can, because it's such an interesting thing to me and to the children. When we leave Ramville, I would like to go down to Peggs's Bridge to let them see the bridge itself, which was there on D-Day, and let them see how good our pilots was in 1944. Can you imagine a glider coming out of the sky, early morning, break of day, and landing, and this is no exaggerating at all, when I say from here to that tree just beside the main road, at the foot of the bridge, that's how near they was when they landed. No brakes, no nothing. They just came in and landed behind one another, and I want to show them the three places where these three aircraft landed. And mate, to me, it's amazing for what they did. This is what I want to show them. And then from there, I want to take the children down to Bay Air Cemetery. Now, that's a very interesting cemetery to me, because a lot of our people I know from our county lay there and all. And I want to do a service and lay a rose there. And both came, we'll do it. We always done the job properly. We take a vicar or somebody with us so we know what we're doing. And from there, I want to take them down to the American sector. Now, that's an experience that you children is something that amazes me every year. For 30 years, it still amazes me to stand on that top of that beach looking down. Can you imagine looking down from the top of Long Sutton Church to the ground? That's how it is, and it's just straight down like that, sheer sand. And that's how them boys had to get up there on D-Day. It's a wonderful cemetery. I think there's 19,500 white stones in that cemetery. So I want to show the children what the Americans did. And after we've done that, I want to bring them all the way down the beach. It's a B road, just like this, right the way down the beaches, so they can see all the different places. The Canadians, the British, and everybody else on the beach. I want to bring them down and show them all the stages of the war. It's roughly 60 miles long, the beaches, where the D-Day landing was. And what I'd like the children to do, if it's possible, on the morning, when they're going in on the ferry to Cairns, as they're going in, just stand on the deck and just look down that beach. And you imagine looking 60 miles down that sand beach, and imagine what they had to go through to get off that beach. To me, it amazes me, because the sheer number that landed on D-Day, I mean, I've heard many, many stories in my life of true veterans that was there. The American Omaha Beach. I was talking to some of the old boys, I call them the Screaming Eagles, and they landed on the D-Day beaches. They got absolutely wiped out. It was that bad, they got wiped out in the first wave. And they told me that the scythe machine guns, the word was a scythe, and that's how it went, straight across the beach, backwards and forwards. Each German had 2 spare barrels on the guns, and they burnt every barrel out, just destroying the Americans that came up. That's how bad it was. And I was talking to a German guy who died last year. He lived at Spalding, and he was on a scythe machine gun, and all his guys was. And they woke up in the morning about 5 o'clock. I said, "There's boats on the horizon." He said, "There's no boats out there." And he said he looked over the parapet, and all he could see was boats from horizon to horizon. And that was a true story. And I've heard many, many stories in my time. Guy, just from Wisbech here, 6'3", 6'4", hell of a fella, landed on the Canadian beach on the morning of D-Day. One of the first lads that ever went in, fully loaded. He hit the beach, as he thought was the beach. The first guys jumped off and disappeared. They hit a sandbar. That bloke had no more to do. Put a rope round his waist, swung to shore under heavy fire, tied around a head jog, which is steel girders, wait till the waves came in, manually pulled the boat in over the sand dune himself. Can you imagine that? Today, a bloke 6 foot odd, hell of a man. And he got mentioned in dispatch for bravery. And when he got back on his boat, he went out and he got tangled up in the parachute. He had no more to do. He dived overboard and cut the parachute off and went fetch some more in. That's the stories that your children will hear, but I should be with them for the day. So as I say, they're going to go to different places all the way down the beach, and I think it'll be an experience of a lifetime, which I'm proud to do for the children, because I think it's more of an educational program for them to actually go back and see what it's all about. As I say, I know they'll enjoy this off. I'm trying to raise as much money for people to go back. We have got enough money for Long Sutton School. I think we have enough for Spalding and Holbeach to go back. I am at Morrison's at Spalding. I think in a week or two's time. John, when is it? When do Morrison's?
18.
I think 18, 17, 18 at Morrison's. We should do another £500 there. And on the bank holiday weekend, a friend of mine, we both rebuilt 2 landing craft called the Duck. Mine was here on D-Day, and my friends, and perhaps some of you know them. Searles, understanding used to have them many years ago to take people out to sea with them on the trips. Well, I bought mine, and I thought, I got a good deal here, not too bad. Till I sandblasted it and fell in half. Anyway, I've got it completely rebuilt. The mates rebuilt his, and between us we spent roughly 90 to 100,000 pounds to rebuild them. Now that's what your children's going to see on D-Day. Mine will be there and normally on D-Day, and my friends will be down at Portsmouth, and the friends taking 3 back. So I want to get them down to Harrow-Manchester to see all the boats. If I'd have realised sooner, as you've got to realise, I had this place to run, I've got the cafe to run, I've got the farm shop, I've got the site to run. Sometimes I get a little bit confused, but I wish now that I would have took them back to 2 days, and they would have actually been there on D-Day itself. But what they're going to see on the day they're back, they will see American veterans, Gulfstream Eagles, and they will see the British, they'll see the French, they'll see the Canadians, veterans from D-Day. I know this year will be a very big year. I'm open to see 350 of our local lads, our D-Day boys there. Whether we will or not, I don't know. But I know there's going to be so many Americans coming over, and I say the experience they'll get at Omaha will be an experience I think they'll remember all their life. So we'll try our best, and as I say, we try to raise money, and we're going to put things on the coach for the children. So we have food and biscuits and crisps and different stuff on the bus. They don't have to buy anything. They'll take a few euros with them if they want to, but we're going to try to raise enough money so there's enough stuff on the coach, so they'll be able to have a decent time.
There'll be some shops. We're going to some shops.
Yeah, we'll be going to some shops and all that around the coast, and they'll be able to get snacks and different things. As I say, there's plenty of places around the beaches, but I've always found out when we go over, you go and buy a cup of coffee, and I walked into the place one day, I said, 50 cups of coffee, please. I'll pay for it. The big mistake I ever said, it's £5 a cup. Learn the lesson. But to say, on the bus, we opened everything for the children. So if there's any questions you'd like to ask, John, I think we've got to thank John, because John's been helping me with this coach, because obviously I can't do 2 coaches. I can only do 1. So I'm looking after the older generation. And John, you're looking after the younger generation.
Oh, yeah, more my age.
More your age. Is there anything you'd like to say, John? Or?
No, I should be travelling on the bus. So while we're on the bus, if you've got any questions, problems, whatever, come and find me and we'll sort it out. But I think everything's pretty self-explanatory. Harold, I think you're going to go through what we're going to do.
Yeah, they've all got one here. They go through that. So it's just what you can do.
More or less. The timings will be as accurate as we can actually do.
We've got to play it by ear, because on that day, I don't know. Well, I do know what it's going to be like on D-Day itself, and I know it's going to be like the day before. It's going to be very, very busy. So it's going to be difficult to do things that I would like to do exactly at the same time. We might move a little bit around here and there, because I don't know how many people will be at Paces Bridge where we can get the coach in or not. I know at the cemetery they'll be getting ready for the parade on the 6th of June, but we'll still be able to do it. And down at Omaha, they've got a huge car park down there, bus park. We should be right down there. But as I say, around the coast road, as we're coming back before we catch the ferry at night, they go and see a lot of sites, different bunkers, different places. It's not all cemeteries. It's educational for the children to see what it's really like on D-Day itself. And say, if we get time to stop in Harrow-Manchester for a little while, to show the children different things. I want to show them all the landing craft that will be there, and there'll be no end of British Dukes here from Norwich. They going over, so there'll be a good display of 1944 vehicles. The only vehicles you will see there will be all genuine 1944 vehicles, and I'm expecting, as a rough guess, there'll be over 150 vehicles there for the children to see, to look round. And on D-Day itself, I've got to be there at 6 o'clock in the morning, because they're doing a big parade on the beach like the normally landings for D-Day. So there'll be no end of ducks out there, but so the children will see a lot on the day before. So as I say, if you ask me any questions, or
We've got BBC Norfolk Jill Bennett travelling with us on the bus, so actually going to be covering the story for BBC Norfolk and Lincolnshire. We've got several of the local press on board. We've got Lincolnshire Free Press, they want picture coverage from it. Eastern Daily Press, and there's another one, and we're trying to get some national papers interested as well, so there'll be a lot of chance to get some publicity for what we're doing. Hopefully we may even get a TV company on board as well with it.
yeah, well, I think with the children down there on the, I think they'll be on at Bay Air Cemetery, because I'm also on BBC on D-Day itself talking about it. I think there'll be a lot of cameras that will be there this year again. They all know me because I've been going back for that many years. So yeah, we should have the children.
Yeah, a once in a lifetime thing, isn't it?
Once in a lifetime.
It won't be repeated.
But
Room for one more?
yeah, it's something. I know I get a bit emotional myself, because when I go and see what they did, it amazes me. I mean, I was across here a fortnight ago, get things sorted out, and this takes a bit of believing. 2 years ago, somebody said to me, Harold, said there's a graveyard, a cemetery where nobody hardly goes to. Can you go and find it? So we put it in the sat nav, went down a motorway, went down a B road, went down a C road, went down a D road. We finished on the grass track, and we found this cemetery in the middle of this field. It got 100 young lads in there, 15 Germans, and one young lad at 17 years old. And as I was driving, I thought, wouldn't it be nice if I could find that place again? And you perhaps not believe this, just went down the road, and there it was. How the hell can that happen? I mean, I didn't even know whereabouts it was. I was in Normally riding around, and I just came upon this sign, cemetery. It just went, that's where the old boy was, 17 years old. And there's a little graveyard that we shan't be able to go and see. I'd love to take you, but it's way out. It's on the side of the main road. Young lad there's a picture down the bottom, 16 years old. Can you imagine? 16 years old. There's 8 young lads there, I think 16 years old. And it's something that I've been very proud to do for all these years. And it's only, 2 months ago, 3 months ago, I had a letter from John Dinner from Prince William, thanking me for 30 years of work, which is nice, isn't it? To think that someone's just got the time to write a letter and sign it from Prince William there. But I think I'm disappointed in the local people from Spalding and Old Beach, not just making that little bit of effort for the children to go back on the 75th anniversary. I mean, to me, I just can't understand that. I just can't understand somebody not bothering just to take those children back. But then again, I suppose some of these people, you know me, I don't, a spade's a spade to me. If I go out to tell people, I tell them if they like it, look at it, I ain't worried. But I was in a place the other day, and the guy said to me, I already said, we might do a tractor run from the hotel. I said, you said that last year, didn't you? I said, you did turn up. I said, don't bother this year. But that's me.
Yeah, so we shall meet in this room.
Yeah.
We're free when we'll meet in this room then, 3 o'clock on the 4th. And get on the bus and go and do it. Cameras, yeah, bring cameras, yeah. Why not?
Yeah, mobile phones are popular, aren't they?
Yeah, bring your mobiles,
Yeah, I mean, it's nice. They want to take what they
Lots of
like.
pictures, yeah.
It's their time in their life, which they'll never ever do again. And as I said to somebody the other day, if they go back this year with the cameras, or they'll have photographs to show their children and their grandchildren. I was there on the 75th, because this will definitely be the last one for the veterans, because the next one, as I say, my veterans will be 101 and 104. So it speaks for itself, doesn't it? Any questions?
Is there any sort of dress code? Or you don't answer?
Dress code.
Well, you can come in your school uniforms if you like, or black and black trousers, black coat, or something like that. We don't want, you know, we want to make it a little bit special. You know, we don't want jeans and sweaters, obviously, because it's something for our young lads. You know, so when we go to these cemeteries, and they'll be able to meet the American veterans from '94, the British veterans and Canadian veterans, so they won't look, you know,
Smart casual.
smart casual.
Smart casual, I think,
Yeah.
is where we're heading with that. Yeah. I say it will be publicised as well. There'll be a lot of publicity. We've also trying to get some French newspapers on as well.
But when they're travelling on the ferry before.
Oh, yeah,
they can wait, you know,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
they can change on the ferry.
Change on
Oh,
the
yeah,
ferry.
change on the ferry, yeah.
There's toilets on the ferry. There's
Showers
washing
and
facility,
everything.
everything on the ferry. What they want. But as I say, you want to take, if you can, an inflatable pillow and just something to wrap over your legs at night, because you've got recliner seats to sleep on, so and you've got no problem. I am trying to raise enough money. I don't know at the moment. I'm trying to raise enough money to give the children so they can have breakfast on the boat. You know, a free breakfast, and on a return, we're trying to raise enough money. I think we got Morrison's for 2 days, and we got Unstamped for 2 days, and it all depends what we got left in the kitty, because, as you know, we raise money here.
I've raised some money for the for food and that, for that.
As you know, we raise money here for the veterans, and up to this year, the secretary said we're up to £800,000 in 29 years. Since Christmas, we've done £7,000 in here. So, you know, we collect the old fella. All the money we raise, bar 5p in the pound, goes to charity. We don't, all the things you see outside belong to me, but all the money we make from them goes to charity. So, you know, we do try our best to raise as much money as we can for the veterans, but we gave the Royal Anglicans in the last 5 years, we gave them about 160,000. And so the D-Day boys had, well, we've done about £800,000 altogether, which is not bad for a cafe. But there's people know if they give me £1, it goes to charity. It don't go in my pocket, and that's what's wrong with a lot of charities today.
The information about the ferries, I don't know if everybody knows where it is. It's on the website in the password protected page. If everybody knows the password to get onto that. If you don't, then I'll tell you afterwards. Come and see me. I'll tell you the password. But you can download all the information about the 2 ferries that we're travelling on there. Got most things on that you could possibly want. So it's not a little tub.
No, it's not nice ferries. They're not. We go and buy tunnel because with some of the veterans, they don't like going on the boat. Their stairs up and down, so we're going on the shuttle. So we should be there we land there we leave on the midnight of the 1st, get there on the 2nd. So that's the one that you're going on is much better, because you leave here straight down to Portsmouth on the ferry, go to sleep, wake up, and you're there.
There's a question at the back, I think.
That's what I was just asking, yeah, what time, how long you're on for,
but-
obviously, when the night.
Yeah, it's the ferry sails at
10 o'clock at night.
it's 10:30 at night, and then it docks at 5 o'clock the next morning. So
But there's an hour difference in time. It's different.
oh yeah, 'cause it's
There's an hour difference. But when you get there, it's the sun's up. It's nice and bright. So you know,
Just like normal.
Huh? Not normal.
Just like normal.
Yeah. When I take them to Arrow Manchers, the young lads, and that, I always think Arrow Manchers is just like Unstanton, just exactly the same. You've got the cliffs, and then you've got the nice big. There's a car park there, but it was green down there, and it's just exactly. That's why I love going to Unstanton for. It always reminds me of Normandy. But I got things sorted out over the week. Got the job done. Anything else, John?
The question, gentlemen.
What time are they expected to be back here?
Time expected to be back here.
Around lunchtime.
Lunchtime on the 6th. Yeah.
Have they got to go to school on them?
Well, that's an interesting.
Pass that one on.
I'm glad you asked that because I have been told, and this applies to me, that I've got to be there in the afternoon for a revision session. So we need to. I don't think we'll be insisting on them. They'll be shackled.
Well, obviously that day, because obviously they leave at 3, but obviously Jodie goes home to 24, so
Yeah.
it's, you know, obviously, will she be coming home at dinner that
She
day,
well,
or-
I mean, if they want to come back to school, they can.
Yeah, no, the day before.
Oh, the day we-
before,
the-
the day that they
The day they go, the
leave.
fourth, you mean?
On the
Yeah.
4th, generally what would happen, what we're going to try and do is get the minibus to bring the students across. Okay. So the idea, well, actually, it'll be just after 3 o'clock. So we'll get the minibus to bring everybody over. So they come to school as normal.
Right.
Yeah, they don't have to wear full school uniform. Come to school as normal, get the minibus, and we'll bring them over here.
Okay.
It's easier to do it like that.
Yeah.
Okay. And myself and Mrs. Gilman will be here with them. All right.
Yeah.
Is everybody okay with that?
Yeah.
Helen phoned you up this afternoon, didn't she?
Yeah.
Did she mention that we're hoping to get a minibus?
Yeah,
ourselves
we've got all
by the
sorts of-
week,
yeah.
but
Yeah, it's in the compound.
Yeah.
It's got security cameras on it. Burger alarms, yeah, no problem. Yeah, leave the car, they put it in the security compound, yeah. We'll put it in
Which
the
is round the
compound.
back of the garden centre,
It's locked away,
round the
yeah.
back of the garden centre. So,
Just tell me you're going on my trip, I shan't be here, you'd have to pay. Just tell me you're going on the trip and that'll be all right. Tell me you're going on the trip. I'll say it's okay. You just got to charge £50 when you look at your car out. Now, don't forget, we have got a few seats left, and if anybody does want to go, it's 50 quid. We'll say children, we try to help you as much as we can with that, but so adults, it is £50, but he's paid.
My eldest was desperate to go on it. And, yeah.
What school is it at?
He's at Field.
yeah, it's
It's
not a
not been
problem.
paid for down, I've already.
No, I'm quite happy to pay because it's space.
No.
Yeah, can I talk to you about that separately?
Yeah.
Is that all right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're trying to raise as much money for the children, so as we can, because it's left to me, because I say years ago, when I had plenty of veterans, I could raise £4,500, £5,000 a month, no problem. But now there's only me and Peter and Wendy, that they're in the 70s now. They come every weekend, but we're getting very thin on the ground for raising money. I mean, I could have gone to Tesco, but I can't because I've got enough people to do it. So it just relies on me. So when I was at Tesco's, I just haven't had time to get anybody to go with, so I've not done it. But Morrison's, I mean, it's not many years ago, I went to Morrison's on my own one weekend and I took over £1,000. You know? But I mean, people know that what they give me, where it goes to. So people, it's quite willing to, give money. So as I say, we're going to raise some more money at Morrison, so we should raise another, if the weather's good, we should do another 500 there. And if we are lucky at Unstanton, if any of the children want to come to Unstanton on Bank Holiday weekend, after there Sunday and Monday, we was there last year raising money, and again there this year. Last year we did £3,700 clear in 2 days. That's after paying entertainment, but people will come. It amazes me what people will give if they know it's a genuine thing. People will put their whole hands in their pockets. I mean, I'm not looking for 5s, 10s. If anybody just put 5 pence or 10 pence in, took a handful of pennies, and I'm quite happy, because every penny makes a pound. I mean, I'm not greedy, never have been in life. I've tried my best, so that's all we can do. Any more questions, sir? About you, sir?
no, fairly well sorted, thanks.
Yeah. Anybody else?
More for any more?
Anybody else wants to go on this trip? If you do, why not?
Daughter
not?
says no.
Fun?
Sorry,
Daughter doesn't want mum with us.
it's not that, it's from the school's perspective, it's the way we did it. And that's the problem, because we've got reserve list at the moment, if anybody drops out. There's 12 students. And on these we did, right, so we did consider taking another 5 students, and if we did that, we would take another member of staff.
Yeah.
And that is something the school is paying for.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've decided that we will keep it as it is, because we've actually got some funding from the
Right,
so that's why it's not costing a penny.
right,
We've even got money for food for the students. I only had that confirmed today. So it's a bit difficult to say. I know, I've had the conversation with Ollie, but
is the end, that's the whole,
Yes.
Yeah, you can. You can.
College air cadets go.
He can be covered on over there for that.
That's fine, it's just joining company
is that for you, John?
Uh,
Would
yeah,
that be through you?
it would, because I'm sort of, I'm a civilian instructor of the air cadets at Holwich, so yeah. The air cadets are, Holwich air cadets are
But he'd have to
taking
go as
they're taking 5 cadets.
He'd have to go under their banner.
Who'd have to go under their
In that
banner,
respect.
yeah.
And the insurance, so
What
no
you
problem.
would need to do is to speak to Flight Lieutenant Bate as quickly as possible, really.
Well, I've got to be like half time, so if I can get in, replaced,
That'd be all right. Are you going, darling, down the bottom?
Oh dear.
But I don't want to say nothing wrong, but I've got a double bed at my hotel. I'm on my own. I'm on my own. But that means for 7 days. Dear.
It's all right. He's already chatted up Mrs. Gilbert.
Yeah, there's no more questions, I don't think.
And
An old 50 quid.
over £50. That's not bad over £50, is it?
I think that's all the questions then. We are live on YouTube, believe it or not.
Are we?
Yeah, we are live. We've got 6 people watching, so
Oh, good.
hello to the 6 people.
Good evening.
I've had 1 or 2 questions, but they've been answered now. So
Well, don't forget, if you've got any children that want to go, we've got about 8 seats spare. That Spalding Air Cadets dropped out. So if you'd like to have a word with John, you can willingly come along. An experience of a lifetime. You'll be able to meet the veterans from America, Australia, New Zealand, Canada. What an experience. 75th.
Timing, isn't it? That's the problem.
All the
sorry.
Amongst the kids that we're taking.
I
Obviously,
am
you all
doing,
know about them,
I am going to,
but they're not taught anything
Yeah.
about it. So it'll be quite interesting.
just
They're all
to
really
check it out.
Yeah, we've got a piece to play on the coach on the journey, which is one of the veterans has done like a little speech and saying what we're going to see and what he did on D-Day. He'll be already there, so they can meet him when they get there. I already recorded that about 2-3 weeks ago, Ernie. So we're going to play that on the coach when we leave, and there's a little bit of history of it, where there's Neville Chamberlain's speech and a Churchill speech and a bit of input on what went on, and then I say Ernie gives this really good talk about what he did on D-Day. So that's sort of like, it's something for people to listen to on the journey, and also get it into the mood, if that's the idea anyway. Yeah.
Well, ladies and gentlemen,
For about 6 hours. Fly back. Sorry.
settle down there. All the children that's going back this year from the schools, the Veterans Eye is going to give all the children one of these medals. 75th anniversary of Normandy. They'll get one on the coach. John, there's one for each of the children as they come back.
Oh, I get one.
No. You're not looking after that lady. No, you're not getting one. It'll be something that a little bit expensive, but the veterans and I thought it'd be nice to give the children one to remember, because it's something they'll be able to show their children and the grandchildren in years to come. Because as you all know, this is my last year, but the next project is, Harold, I'm also for a project. I I've always been interested in the young lads from Afghanistan and Iraq. As I said, I'll get them, I think, over 150,000 by now. But I bought a piece of land just down the road here, just on the corner, just turn Old Beach. It's just over half acre. And I'm going to try to get a brand new memorial built for our county. I've looked at the planners, because you know what ours like, don't you? If ours was out, it's going to be good. She's going to be about 20 feet tall. It's going to be called the Tree of Life. And on that tree, there's going to be little butterflies as they start off, right way through to the top of the tree as they get really big. And the top ones, there's going to be on spring, so they move in the breeze. And on top of that, it's going to be an angel. And I'm going to have a plaque made for every young boy that got killed in Afghanistan and Iraq on the memorial, and also all our young lads that got killed in the Falklands. We haven't got nothing around here like it. And I've been on about it for a few years. I bought the land, but I've been that busy running this place and looking after veterans. And I was in there last week. I was in the cafe last week. My mate came in his helicopter. His boss is a multi-millionaire. He always sends me £1,000 down every year for 10 years. And his pilot brought some people down the other day in the cafe. There was 3 Chinese people, a young girl, mum and dad. And the pilot said to me, "How you going with the memorial?" I said, "I'm going to get it sorted out this year." And the young girl said, "What memorial?" I said, "I'm going to do a new memorial called the Tree of Life." Young girl turned to her mother and said, "Yabba dabba dabba do." And the mother went, "Yabba dabba dabba do" to her dad. Dad went back to her mother. Mother went back to the girl. The girl said to me, "Where are you getting it built?" I said, "China." "Yabba dabba dabba do." "My father will build it for you if you want to in China." What a coincidence. Come right away from China to here, and they said they'll build it for me. Yeah, I mean, what chance is that? Chance in a million, isn't it? So anyway, he rung me the other day, said, "Have you got your plans there?" Yeah, I said, "No, I must get it done when I come back from Normandy." So with a bit of luck, I shall upset the planners, and we should have a new one built in the next 2 years. It's going to cost me roughly £250,000 to £300,000 I've got to raise. But as you know, if Harold puts his mind to it, Harold will do it. So that's my next project. So what do you think of the thing for the children? Nice, isn't it? Nice. So if you see an advert saying going in for planning, write to the council, say we need it. Well, it should be all right.
Any more questions? That's it then. Everybody happy?
Well, thank you very much for coming along, and I can assure you, the children, they'll have a fantastic time. It's not all graveyards, but they'll see a lot of interesting things. I'll speak with them. Our coach will follow them down to the first cemetery, the second one, and then they'll go down to the American one. At the American cemetery, our wreath that we take is half as big as this table, not quite so wide as that. Nice one. It's got 350 carnations in them. One is the Union Jack. That's for our young boys in Bay Air. They'll lay that. And the next one is for the American cemetery. And if you ever look on television, on Obama's weekend when he was here 5 years ago, Anne was the only wreath ever left on the cenotaph when he laid his. What a privilege. Because it was that nice, they left it on with the American flag. And your children will be there this year when we do it again. So there you are. That's all I can do for your children. So,
Thank everybody for coming.
thank everybody for coming. And if you'd like to go in the far end room before you disappear, I've got a flower display in there. It's been on for a week now, but I think it's going to last out this weekend for raise a bit of money. And every table represents one country: Australia, New Zealand, America, Canada, Polish, because we never ever want to forget what the Poles did for this country. The Poles in 1944 on the Battle of Britain, there was more Polish fighters than there was British in the Battle of Britain. People don't realise, and we haven't got time to show the children down in Normandy. But one day, perhaps we'll raise enough money to take it back again from the schools. I'd love to take them down to the Fallies Gap. What a sight to see! You know, does anybody know about the Fallies Gap? No. Well, that's where the Germans got pinned in after D-Day. They got pushed back and pushed back and pushed back, and the Americans were one side, the Polish was over and the Germans back, and the Poles, after the battle was finished in the Falaise Gap, there was 10,000 Germans laid in the Valley of Death. That's how well the Poles fought. And we shan't be able to see them, but the cemetery for the Poles. But if anybody ever goes to Normandy and they go on the Falaise Road, you'll see the Canadian cemetery and the Polish cemetery. And in that cemetery, on the left-hand side, right down the bottom, there's a plaque of the unknown soldiers, about twice as big as these tables. And in the right-hand corner, I laid one of our plaques there 20 years ago, so nobody could pinch it. They had it sold into the stone, into the grave. So it's still there today, 20 years later. So it shows how long I've been going back. When I went back the first time, I was fit. You know, I'm getting older, I'm not so fit. Anyway, thank you very much for coming along. Appreciate it very much. If you'd like to have a look at the playhouse before you go, see what I've done to raise a bit of money. It looks nice anyway.